Gauff suffers an unexpected and tough setback in her debut in Doha. The WTA Doha 2026 is being characterized by a good number of upsets in its early rounds. The latest one starred a top 5 player like Coco Gauff. It seemed like the desired debut after her fall in the Australian Open, against a lucky loser who barely holds 2 wins against top 10 players on her record. We're talking about Elisabetta Cocchiaretto, who, however, transformed herself to take advantage of Coco's errors and lack of confidence in a match that was one-sided, 6-4, 6-2. A resounding defeat for a Gauff who struggles to find consistency. Gauff suffers an unexpected and tough setback in her Doha debut. The Doha night air carried a familiar promise, the hum of anticipation, the gleam of floodlights, the quiet belief that greatness would, as it so often does, find its way onto the court. Coco Gauff stepped into the arena with the calm confidence of a player who has already learned how to win on the world's biggest stages. Yet tennis, in its merciless honesty, was about to remind everyone that reputation offers no protection once the first ball is struck. From the opening games, something felt slightly off. Not broken, not lost, just unsettled. Gauff's feet moved with their usual speed, her forehand still carried its explosive whip, but the rhythm that normally anchors her game refused to settle. Her opponent sensed it immediately, playing with the fearless clarity of someone who understood that this night was not about ranking or headlines, but opportunity. Doha has a way of humbling players. The conditions are quick, the rallies deceptive, and the margins razor-thin. Gauff fought to impose herself, stretching points, chasing down shots that would have ended rallies against most players. The crowd watched as she clenched her fist after hard-earned points, a familiar sign of defiance. Still, the scoreboard told a harsher story, one that refused to bend to effort alone. Unforced errors crept in like uninvited guests. A backhand drifted long. A second serve faltered at the worst moment. Each mistake carried weight, not just in points lost, but in momentum surrendered. Tennis is a sport where confidence is currency, and in Doha, Gauff found herself paying interest on a night that refused to go smoothly. What made the setback unexpected wasn't just the result, it was the contrast. This was a player who had arrived with momentum, maturity, and the quiet aura of someone who belongs at the top. Yet here she was, battling not only an opponent but the invisible pressure of expectation. Every great player knows this battle well. It is the fight against the version of yourself that everyone assumes will appear on demand. As the match wore on, Gauff adjusted. She took more risks, stepped inside the baseline, trusted her instincts. There were flashes, brilliant winners that drew gasps, moments where the match seemed ready to turn. But tennis is not a sport of almosts. In Doha, the door never fully opened. When the final point ended the match, there was no dramatics, just a brief pause, a look toward her team, and the quiet acknowledgement of defeat. The handshake at the net was respectful, professional, and heavy with the understanding that this was not the story either player expected to tell that night. For Gauff, the loss was tough not because it defined her, but because it didn't. It disrupted the narrative, interrupted the rhythm, and forced reflection. These are often the most uncomfortable defeats, the ones that arrive early, without warning, and leave little time to recover emotionally. Yet if tennis history has taught us anything, it is that setbacks are rarely endpoints. They are pauses. They are lessons disguised as disappointments. Gauff has built her career not on perfection, but on growth, on learning how to lose without losing belief. Doha will not be remembered as a triumph. It will be remembered as a reminder. A reminder that even the brightest stars flicker. That even the most prepared players can stumble. And that greatness is not measured by how rarely you fall, but by how deliberately you rise. As Gauff left the court, the night swallowed the echoes of the match. Tomorrow, the headlines would move on. Rankings would adjust. Another tournament would begin. But somewhere between the disappointment and the determination, a familiar resolve would return. Because champions are not defined by smooth debuts. They are forged in nights like these, when nothing comes easy, when confidence wavers, and when the only way forward is through.